Hey, what's up, guys? Here's another masculine manual for the future. Okay, the famous 1951 essay from Ernst Jünger, here translated as the Forest Passage. It's called the Waldgang. It's sometimes been translated as the Forest Escape or the Forest Fleer, but passage is, of course, a more versatile. You could be retreating or advancing rather than running away. I like the cover of this book. I mean, it's a book version of an essay, but I like the cover here. You have Leviathan, where I worked for many years, but the forest passage. I live closer to the forest now, in a journey that is going to continue. So, this was written after the Second World War had ended. Right? It's essentially Junger's very Nietzschean, very poetic writing applied to how one was going to deal with the future in societies and technologies that were going to become more and more intrusive. Okay, if you ever read some of his science fiction novels, they're very interesting. They're not very exciting, but they're very philosophical, and they also deal with technologies. And he was very prescient on like things like drones, nanotechnology. It really is kind of fascinating. He was an entomologist, Ernst Jünger, and saw insects and technology, machines, as something that was, they kind of were like, would intersect at some point. And of course, the greatest intersection of the insect uh, way of living is the hive and the future that we are going to, which is essentially like a hive. Okay, so now we go into the realm of science fiction horror thrillers, right? Which in Ernst Junger's essays, he always mentions literary things like horror and the fantastic. It's very interesting. He is considered one of the later decadents in some ways, but of course we always see him. He's much more because he tried to find and give advice or ways to go forward rather than just drain away with ennui. Right? So you could probably find this essay online rather than getting this book. I'm not a huge Telos Press fan. Let's see. We got a guest appearance by James LaFon's notes. He had actually reviewed this a couple of years ago. Right? Here and now. That's the motto of the Forest, the Rebel, by the way. Anyway, so he starts out here, right? A core question of our times is concern that is a question that will, in any event, involve personal danger. He then goes on to discuss the idea of elections, very timely, right? And how elections are essentially a question, okay? And you're more and more, as you can see, your answer to that question will have far-reaching consequences for you, and I don't just mean in terms of the policy of the person you elect. I mean, we sort of see that the Hive is doing what it wants. Okay, you can vote for a new queen every now and then, but the Hive is going to continue with what it wants to do. Okay, which is negation. But that's my little spin. Okay, I'm just going over little parts of this. There's so much to this that I can't. I don't want to make this video super long either. Okay? I like this one here. Dictatorships cannot survive on pure affirmation. They need hate, and with it, terror. Interesting. Who does this system hate now? Well, it's very simple. Just scan your the world and the media. You can see who they hate. It's like, wait a minute, that's me. Yeah. Anyway, we'll go. I'm just kind of randomly going at this because I want you to read this. I'm just pointing out little things that I like. The hopeless encirclement of man has been long in the preparation. Through theories that strive for a logical and seamless explanation of the world and go hand in hand with technical development. Again, the guy was real. I mean, the guy's like the Philip K. Dick if he was like a World War One hero. Right? And by the way, he also did mind-altering drugs. It's amazing. Ernst Jünger actually did LSD and did not go insane from it. Although he did have a drug problem, I believe, in between the wars that through the sheer force of his will, he stopped. But let me not get on there. Okay. At first, there is the rational encirclement of the opponent, then the societal one. Finally, at the appointed hour, he is exterminated. No more desperate fate exists than getting mixed up in a process where the law has been turned into a weapon. Yeah, keep back in the blue, and they turn around and arrest you, okay, for defending yourself. Okay? All that rational thought is by its nature cruel, right? Rational thought, what they've been trying to push as the be-all, end-all, and eventually by its nature is cruel, like like an insect hive. Okay, let's see. Get to some pages in the 30s here. And I like how he brings up Leviathan a lot here. What do we got here? We got something interesting here. Ooh, okay, let's get away from that. Here, right. Right. There are no longer destinies there. There are only numbers. To have a destiny or to be classified as a number, this decision is forced upon all of us today. Okay? And each of us must face it alone. Okay? He becomes Leviathan's antagonist, okay, whether we want to or not. Okay? So now this sounds like very individualistic stuff, and it sort of is, but it's a practical. It's you're on your own. Collectivism, tribalism, these things are great. Okay, it's like a car. I keep bringing up that analogy. It would be better to have that car than being all by yourself. But you don't have that car. Okay, you have a moped or something, or an e-bike with a flat tire chained to your back gate. That's what you have. That's what you have to work with. Okay, and this stuff has been decades in the making. All right, so let's see. We'll go. There's a lot. This is pretty. The whole thing is, he talks about the needs for poets. I keep saying how poets, the poets of the late 19th century, I'll bring them up again. The late 19th century, early 20th century, the poets. Okay, and I include writers, fiction writers in that. They seem to sense these things better than any scientist or planner or manager. Okay, Henry Ford, any of those brilliant guys, they saw a different future. The utopians saw a different future, but the poets, the writers, who especially dealing with the weird fiction, they predicted this stuff more accurately. Right? And there's a little thing here on he brings up the form of Christian nihilism that oversimplifies the matter for its own convenience. That's my own personal thing. If you're a Nietzschean, you're gonna definitely see that. This is not the absence of Christianity. This is Christianity going to its final phase, but I don't want to get on there. Let's get to the rest of this, and it's not the rest of this. There's a ton of this stuff here. I'm just going to go over a few more things because I don't want to make this huge. Okay, there are two facts we need to know and accept if we are to escape the pattern of moves that is forced on us and play our own higher game. Because in the end, life is a test. It's like a test and a game, right? Life. Right? You win by victory conditions, but you can never ultimately win. And that's fine. Okay, that's fine. But we need to understand first, as in the example of the elections, only a small fraction of the great masses will be able to defy the mighty fictions of the times and the intimidation that emanates from them. Okay, so only a couple of good friends, and almost entirely male, are ever going to know, what's really going on. Okay? Most people are not. Of course, let's see. And second, as we saw in the example of the ship, the powers of the president will be insufficient to set up a resistance. Okay, you're not using the system. You're not using the hive. You're not going to turn the hive that is there to use you and negate you. You're not turning the hive in on itself. Okay, Sean Hannity's not going to save you by complaining for the 100th time about Hillary Clinton. Okay? It's not going to happen. And he goes to more another thing here. Two characteristics are thus essential for the forest rebel. He allows no superior power to dictate the law to him. Okay, neither through propaganda nor force, and he means to defend himself not only by exploiting the instruments and ideas of the times, okay, but by also maintaining access to those time-transcending powers that can never be reduced to pure movement. So it's combining the here and now, the what you have in this time and space to deal with, what you have at your disposal, okay, which may be of the times, but you also have to have access to, I don't know how else to say it, but religiosity, okay, believing in something higher, okay, something more important than your bourgeois comfort, safety, danger, okay. Danger serves to hone that. My buddy James, I admire the guy a lot. He really has seen a lot of things and explained a lot of things that almost no one else has. Okay, I agree with a decent amount of things. He got that from every night just going to work, the danger that he faced. So danger, we try to avoid it, and you should. But in the end, there's it's almost like we're beings designed to be better from facing hardship and danger. And we're going to face it anyway, whether we want to or not. So, all right. So, it's already going past the amount of time I wanted to spend on this here. Okay. I'm just going to wrap it up real quick here. I like this little part here. Right. The panic so widely observable today is the expression of an emaciated spirit. Guys, we're civilizationally exhausted, to quote John Derbyshire. We have ennui. We're drained. We were already getting drained before the wars, okay? And those two wars, man, they drained so much from all of us. Okay. Emaciated spirit of a passive nihilism that provokes its active counterpart. Of course, no one is easier to terrorize, okay, like we've had this past year, than the person who believes that everything is over when his or her fleeting phenomenon is extinguished. The new slaveholders have realized this, and this explains the importance for them of materialistic theories which serve to shatter the old order during the insurrection and to perpetuate the reign of terror afterwards. Okay, when they said don't go to church, the majority of Christians did not go to church. Okay, in New York, the people I saw defying these things were Orthodox and Hasidic Jews and Muslims. They were defying that. Good for them. Okay, they believe, essentially that it's all God's will, and what shall be shall be. Okay, that's an example of the timeless, time transcending powers, and you see that. And I'm not a religious guy, and I have to acknowledge that what's in front of me, what is, not what I would like it to be. And so I thought that was interesting. And I like here at the end, he sums it up. Summary. Whoa, nice. And he goes over that, but you can go over that because I want you to read this. Okay, and realize that, if you feel black-pilled or you feel like it's hopeless, that is what is wanted by the system, okay? And that is, if the very essence of the hive and the very essence of this is there to produce that in you, okay? If you are stuck here, when you go here, that gets you closer to here. What is that? Well, you see what I'm getting at. All right, check this out. You can probably see it online for free, and print it up or something. All right, later.